Hello. In this tutorial, a mesh from a 3D scanner will be prepared for 3D printing. There are 3 layers with a texture on each layer. For the first step, we will merge all the layers into one. And when this happens, you can see some of the areas turn black, and that's because the wrong texture is now being used on those polygons. If this model was to be printed in color, before merging all the layers, the model would have had to been run through a program which would have taken all 3 textures, packed them into one texture, and recalculated all the UV coordinates. Now, as our model won't be textured, we'll take and delete the texture from it. It has a black color, which is hard to work with, so we will change the color to gray. Okay, so now we have to check. One of the things that could happen is we could have polygons overlaying one another in the same plane throughout the model. AccuTrans doesn't have a routine for checking for that, so you'd have to sort of check that by eye. Now what we'll do is a watertight check, and it says we have holes, which we know, so we'll say yes. If we rotate the model, we'll see it's hollow underneath, which means we're going to have to extrude a base on this. So we'll put that back. Now the object has holes. So now if we take and turn off the model, we can see there's a hole over here, there's a hole over here, and then 2 spots up here, which are problems which will have to be corrected, and a couple other things along the edge of the object. So we'll turn that back on, and I'll turn on lock pivot point, and I'm just going to click here near this hole, bring it in. There's our hole. I'll go up to go into edit vertice mode, right click on the mesh to select it, go over here, click add triangles, and now we can pick the vertices for the triangle. So I'll pick one here, and one here in a clockwise direction. We'll just, and then I can either press the keep triangle button or press the control plus the K key. So I'll say OK. If I click on shortcut key, that turns on as though I'm holding down the control key, and then I can just continue on selecting vertices and press the K key and select again, press the K, and if I happen to go in the counterclockwise direction, it turns red, which means I'm looking at the invisible side of the triangle, and as I know this is the visible side for all these other triangles, I want to flip this one so it's white, and then I'll say OK, and then I just continue until I've got them all filled. Okay, now I'll zoom out, and over where is it in this area? Oh, better come out. I'll say OK plus weld. Go over to layers, turn this off. Okay, where's the other hole? Okay, that's the hole. Turn it back on. Okay, come in here. Okay, here's our other hole, and we can go back to add triangle mode. Now, as I'm finished adding triangles, I'm going to go back and click off shortcut key, because if I leave it on, this will prevent adding values into edit boxes. And I'll say OK, and OK, and we'll exit out of there. And if I go back and do watertight check, we can see the lines for that, the hole disappeared. Now I'm going to turn the model around, and if we come down here and at this spot, okay, here we have another hole along the edge that's going to be extruded. Now there's two ways of handling this. We could take and fill this in with triangles, or we could delete this triangle. And so if I went to Tools, Triangle, Delete, right click to select it, select that, say delete, it's gone into an undo buffer, which I can could bring it back if I wanted, and then just click OK, and it's gone. Do a watertight check, and there we are. We got rid of that hole without putting triangles in. Now we'll come back out. Now there's two problems up here in the top. We'll take a look at this one first, and this one with two lines is actually two vertices that weren't merged together. They're awfully close, but weren't the same. And so if I come in and go back to edit mode and click on that vertex, and I'll just move it out of position a little bit, and there you can see the other one underneath. And then I'll do a snap to vert, click on it, okay, they're together, and OK plus weld, and now they're joined together. So we'll exit out of that, and if I did another watertight check again, and our line is gone in that spot. Now if I come back out, there is another spot here. Okay, so now you can see that, okay, this is our edge where we're going to extrude, and we've got one line traveling off all by itself. That's another spot again where two vertices didn't merge together. Now whenever you want to join a bunch of layers together, you should always make sure that you've selected remove similar vertices and remove similar polys before doing the merge. And a lot of times what's good when you're doing this is to go ahead and merge vertices. There we have the two turned on. Select optional vertices, and you'll know what the minimum good value should be for your object, and so you want to merge anything that's further apart than this value here. So we'll click copy to, and it's easy when you're doing an optional merge to ruin your model by picking the wrong value here. So you'll probably want to save to a temporary file before you use this function. And what I'm going to do is exit out of here, come back up here. Okay, we can see that we have 160,438 vertices, and I'll go on and come back here, select optional merge, and set the value back to 1/1000th to merge at. Click OK, and our number dropped down to by two vertices. So we were able to get rid of some, and if we do the watertight check again, we will see, okay, that's gone. So we're good there. That won't cause us any problem. Now if we come back out, here's another spot up here. So I'll click there, and it's kind of hard to see, but if I come underneath and zoom in, okay, what we have here is we have orphan triangles. And so now we have to delete those because we don't want them to take part in the extrusion. So I'll go back to Tools, Triangle, Delete, and then I can either work from the bottom or work from the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select some triangles that I don't want to delete, and what I'm going to do is temporarily hide them so we don't see them. And now I can work on getting rid of the ones I don't want. Once they're highlighted in red, click delete, and they go into the undo buffer, which I'll turn off. And oh, it looks like I got lucky and I got them all at once. What happens a lot of times is because they're thin, you've got to keep zooming in on them and until you can actually select them and turn them red to get rid of them. Now I can either take and click the unhide button to bring them all back, or just click OK, and we get all the hidden triangles back. And if I do a watertight check again, okay, we're all cleaned up in that, and we just have the along the edges. Now let's go back to the camera reset view. Okay, our object came in this orientation with it being hollow underneath. Now extrusions take place parallel to the Z-axis, and here we would have to extrude along the Y-axis. Now if I wanted to maintain this object in this orientation after it was extruded, what I would do is go into the Extrude Module, and then I would take and rotate the object into the position that I wanted it, and then click the mark button. Now you see we've got numbers down here. This is showing how much we rotated on each axis. If I click mark, it's gone. I could now go ahead and extrude it, and after I was done I could just clear it and then click OK, and we would come out, and we've got the object back, would be extruded and sitting in its position. But since I'm going to 3D print it, and I don't care about the orientation, keeping that orientation, what I'll do is I'll select the adjust object. I'll do a -90 rotation around the axis, around the x-axis, rotate it a bit on the y-axis, click OK, and now I'm fixed in this position. And then I'm going to center it around the x and y axis and set the minimum vertex at the z equals 0 axis. Now that this object's got all its holes fixed up and oriented right, I would take and save this to an intermediate file. So if I did something wrong further on in this procedure, I would just have to load the intermediate file back in and continue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this to the clipboard. Oh, okay. Okay, copy to the clipboard, and pick another work area, paste the layers in from the clipboard, and here we have them. And now I'll go into the Extrude Module. Okay, and I'll extrude it down 2 units, and I'll put a flat bottom on it and do an extrude. Now this looks pretty good at a quick glance, but if we notice some places around the object, here we have a whole bunch of triangles sitting in the same plane and overlaying one another, and that would more than likely cause problems trying to 3D print it. And to show you what happens, you can see this side sticks out further than where we're trying to extrude. So if I make this, exaggerate the extrusion, and I'll make, and I'll make it 200 units and make it a normal extrusion and do a redo. Okay, so now if we, I should shorten it up. Let's go to 100. Okay, so now here we have the top, and for the bottom of the object, what we have is the exact mesh that's on the top is copied to the bottom, and we can see it sticking out the sides here. So now if I go to a flat bottom and then say redo, all that happens is all the vertices for what we just saw from the normal are all set to the same Z value, and so that side piece collapses down and forms all these overlapping triangles. And so that's a failed 3D printing. But the one thing we have with this model is this top represents a typical DEM terrain surface, and this module was made for doing DEM, anything that was similar to a DEM terrain. And since this is slightly different is why we're getting the failure. But there's another way of getting our extrusion, so I'll just click undo, so that's gone, and I'll exit out and do a camera reset. Now we have another module here which takes and converts a mesh to a landscape and or a terrain. And so first thing we have, this works as a virtual digital probe. If somebody wanted to produce something in a CNC machine, they would take and run the probe over the original object and get the dimensions, create a mesh, and send that to the CNC machine. Well, this does the same thing without going out to a CNC machine. And so I have to pick a grid spacing. A rectangular grid is going to be created that is 0.4 units apart in both the X and the Y direction. Calculate it, and it says I'm going to have 452,000 vertex triangles, and our original model is 315,000, so we've got about the same resolution. With that calculated, I want to set here to convert to a landscape, and then I'll just click OK. And oh yeah, okay. So now, so here we have our as though we had loaded a DEM file in, the same thing. So now all I have to do is go to convert the terrain to a 3D object, and click on the 1 so that I get all the vertices. And before I do that, I'll just move that up. The virtual terrain takes and always makes a rectangular shape around the object. And then I want to drop all the faces that are at 0 or below 0, so I can clip off all this blue stuff. Click OK. And there we are, extruded down with all the edges missing. Since I don't want the UV coordinates, I'll just go up here and get rid of them. Okay, there's our model. I can now go into the Extrude module, give it a thickness of 2, put a flat bottom on it, do Extrude. Okay, there we have that. We don't have those edges because the sides are different, but you can see the sides were chopped away, and they're somewhat different than what it was on the original model. And if I click OK, and then if I do a watertight check, okay, so now we have a model ready for 3D printing. I'm going to pick another work area and pick a different file format, and there we go. Okay, I have another model here. Okay, here's a shape, and we can see it's coming around the edges, and it's just missing triangles in that area. So now if I wanted to put a base on that, I would just want to extrude down from those areas. So if I go into the Extrude module, and I'll say I'll put a thickness on of 20 units, I'll keep a normal top, and we'll extrude. And now you can see better that, okay, there's the same mesh copied for both surfaces, and there's our extrusion area in there. And if I go and I say I want a flat bottom, and I do a redo, there it goes like that, and that's what we saw on the other model. So now what I have to do is put a new routine in the Extrude module, which instead of using the top mesh, it will take and create a new mesh which will fit inside the extrusion area, so we don't have all these overlaid triangles that we don't need. Now I'll click that, undo, click OK. Now here's our model back. Now if I wanted to use the virtual digital probe on it, I go back here, and if I calculate it, I'm not getting many vertices, so I'm going to take and change the spacing to 0.1, calculate, and say OK. And now I've got my mesh, but now I'm not at 0. I'm now picking up the lowest elevation that I had before from the model, which was at 13.66. And so now if I wanted to convert that to a 3D terrain and drop the lowest values, when you're not at 0, there can be a little bit of trouble getting rid of the triangles you want to get rid of. So I'm just going to raise that, and I'll say I want it from 14 units and below. I want to drop all those, and I'll say OK. And there it is. And there's our object. And now you can see I no longer have the shape that I had before. I've got another shape. So that's why I've got to change the extrusion module to get rid of that. And you'll always, and there's a couple holes that were created because that was right at the side of the digital probe. But if I went into the extrusion module and give it 2 units, flat bottom, extrude. Okay, so it filled in those areas, and if I exit out and do a watertight check, it's watertight. So that would be ready for 3D printing, but it doesn't give us the shape we want on the lower part of the object. So that's it for this tutorial. Goodbye.